All right, everybody, here we go. This is it. This is the big show. This is the men's Open Pro Shoot Down 2016 Realtree ASA Classic. Got Nathan Brooks, the Italian Stallion, Danny McCarthy, Joseph Goza, Tim the Hammer Gillingham, Levi the Manimal Morgan. These guys are all right there within 4 points, which for these guys is nothing with the 14 in play. So looking for Tim Gillingham and Levi Morgan probably to be fairly aggressive. Here we go. Levi Morgan to draw very, very quickly. Danny McCarthy taking his time. Danny will be the last to draw. Levi Morgan shoots and steps to the right immediately to look at his shot on the heavy. Danny with the fist pump on that. Had to be pleased with that particular shot. Nathan Brooks on the Panther. Nathan was tied for first heading into this. Don down on his hands and knees to look at this arrow, so these guys call these arrows very, very consistent. So they're going to give the archer every chance they can. 12. 12 for Nathan Brooks on the Black Panther. Dan McCarthy for Dan McCarthy. 12 on the Cougar. These guys are starting off hot. Joseph Goza on the long mule deer. Eight for Joseph Goza on the mule deer. That's going to probably force Joseph to get a little bit more aggressive than he normally would. 14 for Tim Gillingham. No surprise right there. Tim dropping the hammer on it. Here we go. We got Levi Morgan on the heavy. He didn't look super stoked with it. An 8 for Levi Morgan. All right, everybody, here we go. We got arrow number 2 in the Men's Open Pro ASA Classic. Tim Gillingham shot a 14 on that last target, and Danny shot 12s. Joseph and Levi with 8s kind of put them a little bit behind the 8 ball. Tim Gillingham with a little bit of a geechee goo there on the javelina. I've actually watched Tim have a geechee goo like that and then shoot an inside-out X. It's impressive to watch, no doubt about it. Here we go. Tim Gillingham on the heavy. Tim with a 10. 10 on the javelina for Tim Gillingham. Joseph Goza is going to have to get a little bit more aggressive after shooting that 8, because these guys here just aren't going to give up. They just aren't going to give up any points. And the guys that do are going to have to get aggressive. 14 for Joseph Goza. Yeah, I mean, Joseph really had no choice right there. Here we go, Dan McCarthy on the mule deer. Dan came in with a 10. 10 for Dan McCarthy on the mule deer. Dan had an amazing day yesterday, shooting 24 up. Came in today, had a game plan, played it a little bit more safe. Came in here 32 up, tied with Nathan Brooks for the lead. Here we go, Nathan Brooks on the Coyote with a 12. Nathan Brooks with a 12 on the Coyote. Levi called the upper 12 on the Black Panther, and it's going to be a 12. Levi Morgan going to make up a little bit on the Black Panther right there.
John Dudley. I'm an archer. I'm a bow hunter. I am defiant.
All right, here we go. Third arrow, men's open pro. Nathan Brooks has quietly moved out to a little bit of a lead. Levi Morgan has kind of shot that first eight. It's kind of fallen back a little bit. See if Joseph Goza continues to be a little bit aggressive on the heavy. Danny McCarthy's shooting the close buck. Dan McCarthy with a fist pump. Obviously pleased with that shot. Tim Gillingham down there on the called upper on the 12 for Tim Gillingham on the Black Panther. That Black Panther's getting pretty much owned by these guys. That's good shooting right there. We got Levi Morgan on the Coyote. Coyote's the second closest target of this particular event. Boys are taking a good look at it down there. That's always in it. Oh, not sure if they're going to get down on the ground or not. 14 for Levi Morgan. Yeah, Levi's going to, after shooting that 8, you got to figure that Levi's going to come back gunning. So Levi Morgan with the 8, 12, 14. So Levi's looking to make his move. Nathan Brooks on the long mule deer. 12 for Nathan Brooks on the mule deer. Look at Nathan go. That's impressive. We haven't seen a lot of 12s on that mule deer today. So we got Dan McCarthy going for a 14. See what Don and the boys have to say down there. 14 for Dan McCarthy. Dan McCarthy is he ain't going down without a fight. Joseph Goza on the Javelina. Joseph's going to need a little bit of help down there right now. They ask if he 10 for Joseph Goza. They asked if he had called up or he didn't. That's usually not a good sign. All right, here we go, everybody. This is the fourth arrow, men's open pro. Goza called upper 12 on the Black Panther. Gillingham called upper 12 on the Coyote. And Danny McCarthy called upper 12 on the Javelina. You got to figure that Nathan Brooks is going to go for a 14. Levi Morgan shooting the long mule deer. Crowd cheers when Nathan Brooks shoots. Usually a good sign. Danny McCarthy on the heavy, 10. 10 for Danny on the Javelina. Danny was actually tied with Nathan for the lead right there. So Nathan Brooks went for a 14. Let's see what Don and the boys have to say. 14 for Nathan Brooks. Look at Nathan's quietly making his move to bring home this classic championship. Looking down there at Levi's arrow, it looks like he might have went for the 14 on that. 8. Yep, 8 for Levi Morgan. Levi had went for the 8 over there, and obviously was maybe a yard and a half short. Tim Gillingham on the Coyote. Looks like it's just above the cut line for an 8. 8 for Tim Gillingham. That's gonna force Tim to maybe get a little bit more aggressive than he wanted to on the mule deer. 10 for Joseph Goza on the Black Panther. All right, everybody, here we go. Fifth arrow. Everybody's packed right in there. So we'll probably have a 6th arrow for sure. So Nathan Brooks called upper 12 on the heavy. Tim Gillingham called upper 12 on the mule deer. Nathan Brooks currently has a decent lead, all things considered. These guys have been shooting incredibly, incredibly well. Looks like Nathan made a pretty decent shot. Tim Gillingham looks like he's not super duper happy with that particular shot right there. Looks like Joseph Goza made a good shot. Danny McCarthy's pumping his fists as well. Dan McCarthy on the Black Panther. 14 for Dan McCarthy. Joseph Goza on the Coyote. 10. 10 for Joseph Goza. With that 14 from Danny, that's probably gonna be a good move for Dan right there. Joseph looks a little bit disappointed there. Gillingham with an 8. Looks like that was an 8 right. Tim was saying he was having some left and right issues this weekend. So that might have contributed to that. He didn't look very happy whatsoever. All right, here we go. Levi Morgan on the closest target. 14 for Levi Morgan. And Nathan Brooks on the javelina. Nathan had called the upper 12. Mike Terrell over there having a little bit of conversation with Mr. Brooks. 12 for Nathan Brooks. That's gonna give Nathan a pretty good lead heading into this last arrow. All right, everybody, here we go. 6th and final arrow. Nathan Brooks has a 2-point lead over Danny McCarthy. Things are pretty tight there. Really, Levi, Tim, and Joseph are going to be shooting for 3rd. There's really not going to be anything they can do to catch Danny or Nathan. So this is going to be a battle for 3rd right here. Levi Morgan's up first. They're actually shooting what would amount to over the Blesbuck into the other deer. There were some jokes made about Danny McCarthy being able to make it over the Blesbuck. Levi looks to be holding pretty well. Levi Morgan comes out and does what Levi Morgan does. Shoots a 14. Levi Morgan, great shot by Levi Morgan. You had to know Levi was going to come out and shoot for a 14. He's not. All right, so here we go. Danny's trailing Nathan by 2. He's got 6 points on Levi Morgan. So this kind of puts Danny in a tough spot. I mean, he can't exactly just go gunning for a 14 and shoot a 5 out there, or he's going to lose 2nd place to Levi. So, obviously Danny needs at least an 8 to hold on to 2nd place. Danny's been in this position lots and lots of times. He's been in this position in this very building. He's won in this very building. So this is a position that Danny's used to being in. Danny's one of the most cerebral shooters out here on the 3D course. So he's going to, he has a game plan and he's going to execute on it. The question is does he have the yardage? Didn't get any quieter than that. A little bit of a hush comes over the crowd. Let's see what Danny McCarthy ends up with. 10 for Danny McCarthy. So Danny McCarthy is at least going to finish 2nd. So Nathan Brooks just needs an 8. If he shoots an 8, he ties. If he shoots a 10, he wins. So obviously Nathan Brooks is just going to shoot center 10 here for the ASA Classic Championship. Stranger things have happened, but Nathan is not one to make any hasty decisions. Here he goes. Nathan's actually shooting the PSC Freak. There you go. Nathan Brooks is your 2016 Realtree ASA Classic champion.